So it looks like we're here in lesson number 6. Yeah, and lesson 6 is going to be talking about our rational numbers being placed on a number line. All right, slow down here. Rational numbers, remember, are your fractions. But also keep in mind, fractions can be written as decimals and sometimes even as whole numbers. Okay, so let's go back here and let's look at what we've done in the past. In the past, one of the things that we've realized is place value. It has our tenths, hundreds, thousands. So if we try to get it out of tens, and this is nice, it works. We can multiply by a 5. So we can multiply by a 5, or like, hey, 5 tenths. What does that look like? Well, it looks like a decimal point, and then it also looks like the number 5. So there we go. Now you might know that just simply out of recall that's there, and that's fine. Just want to make sure we show you a technique. 4/5. Okay, same idea, is I can get my fraction down. I can try to get it out of tenths, and it works because all I'm doing is multiplying by a 2. So if I multiply by 2, I get an 8, and we can say it 8 tenths. So there's my decimal. So again, I got my decimal point, and now my 8. The last one, hey, it's already out of tenths. That's nice. 6.7, because it's 6 and 7 tenths. All right, so we're going to go the other way. We just say it with place value. So this is 42 hundredths. So that would be a 42, a fraction bar, and a 100. Here is 3 and 75 hundredths. So 3, 75 over 100. And lastly, 36 and, well, it says 90 hundredths, but that 0 doesn't need to be there. So that's really the exact same thing as 36 and 9 tenths. So if you said 36 and 90 hundredths because of the original problem, that's okay. We could also say the 36 and the 9 tenths to go along with it. All right, so remember, those are your rational numbers. They're fractions. But remember, they can also be written as decimals and sometimes whole numbers. All right, so now we're going to be graphing under. So what we want to notice here is that when we are graphing with a fraction, the denominator is going to be our scale. So since I have a 10 in the denominator, that tells me that my scale is going to be 1/10. All right. Now, when it comes to filling in the scale, I don't have to fill in every single number just because it can get pretty tight. So, for example, like that is 1/10, but I could skip and put my 2/10 down. I know that's 3/10. That would be 4/10. I know the next one's 5/10, so you're 6/10. 7/10, 8/10, and then 9/10, and this would be 10/10. Notice they've got the 1 that's up there. Now, numbers should not be on top, but we're showing there that, hey, 10/10 is the same as 1 whole. So that's just reviewing, all right? If we go to the left of the 0, remember, that's going to be our negative numbers. So that would be a negative, the first guy would be a negative 1/10. Okay. Negative 2/10 and negative 3/10. And you see, if I try to cram them all in, it's just going to be too tight. Negative 4/10, negative 5/10, negative 6/10. So even though I'm skipping, I'm keeping the scale in mind. Negative 8/10, and then, yeah, there's my negative 10/10, which is also known as a negative 1 that's there. So again, when we're going to come to graphing here, that's what we're looking to do. So graph 3/10. So there's my 3/10. And then it's opposite. So negative 3/10. And there we are. So we got you here. Anytime we talk about the number, we like to fill it in. So I'm going to squeeze them in there because we were talking about him. All right, so use what you know about the point, negative 7/4, and its opposite to graph both the points on the number line. Okay, again, notice the denominator, it's a 4. So that means my scale is going to be 1/4. All right? Yes, thank you. All right. So, yeah, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. This is 4/4, which is also known as 1 whole. All right? So I could go 4/4 and then realize that that's 5/4 and then 6/4 and then 7/4 and then 8/4. And again, keep in mind, what is 8/4? Oh, it's really a 2 that's there. So again, we just have to be aware of some of our simplifying here. So if I'm going to go to the left of my 0 and plot my negatives. So there's a negative 1/4. That's a negative 2/4. There's a negative 3/4, negative 4/4, negative 5/4. Now I could do negative 1 and a fourth. I'm just going to keep improper because that's what they gave me. And there we go, negative 7/4. So plot it. There we go, negative 7/4. I got you. And then a positive 7/4. I got you right there. So let's look at these 3 follow-up questions. On the number line, each segment will have an equal length of, well, equal length. That means what did you count by? Which means we counted by a fourth. So your scale is also the equal length that's there. So in the fraction negative 7/4, the numerator is, well, it's a 7, and the denominator here is a 4. Now you might be asking, wait a second, what about the negative symbol? Where is it? Okay, it is there. So we read the negative only going with one of the numbers, and typically we're going to associate it with the numerator. So numerator is negative 7, the denominator is a 4. We don't put it with both of them in there. That's going to change something. The fraction is located between, all right, well, it's going to be between negative 8/4 and negative 6/4. And again, I can see that right in between these two. So that's why I'm using it to count to the left. That's there. All right, so now the fraction negative 7/4 is located between 2 consecutive integers. Ooh, integers. Remember, these are our positive and negative whole numbers. So negative 7/4, all right, is going to be between, I need the whole numbers. Well, the next guy over is negative 8/4. And what is negative 8/4? Well, it's really a negative 2. And then if I go to the right, I'm going to have my negative 4/4. Well, what is 4/4 really? It's a 1. So negative 4/4, that's a negative 1. That's there. So yeah, they're located between the negative 2 and the negative 1. Explain your reasoning. Well, and again, here is I'm looking at my number line that's there. So my description along the way that's there. So if they're asking you to do that, I think that you're talking about to the left is negative 2, and to the right is our negative 1. That'll get the job done describing it there. So big thing here is that denominator. Get ready to use that as your scale. All right, people, we're out of here. We'll see you guys later.